Hello there, today I want to cover AI and the future, and I've got a book recommendation that I personally think is all you need to understand the near and distant future and what AI has in store. The book is called Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, and he's an AI researcher and physicist. And this latter part is actually quite important because to truly understand AI technology from the ground up, it really involves a good understanding of physics. This book is a comprehensive exploration of the future of AI and its implications for humanity, and it covers things both from a philosophical perspective but also from a technical one too. And after reading this book, you'll have a good understanding of areas of physics, astrophysics, philosophy, psychology, and of course AI. There are of course alternatives to this book, such as Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence or The Alignment Problem, and many of these books cover similar ideas and the future implications and warning signs of AI. But what I really like about this one is it incorporates a lot of those other ideas and even individual aspects of those books into this one. So you might be wondering why the book is called Life 3.0. Well, this all comes down to the central idea, which is Life 1.0 is biological life, Life 2.0 is cultural life, and Life 3.0 is artificial life. And we'll go through each one of those and what it actually means in a second. The best way to understand this is to think back to computers, and typically we break things down into hardware and software, where hardware is the physical machinery that exists in the real world, and the software is the digital component that exists in its own digital space. So how does this relate back to the original point? Well, Life 1.0 is something that can only evolve through natural selection, which means it doesn't have the ability to rewrite its hardware or software, and only can you see a difference from one generation to the next. Life 2.0 on the other hand has the ability to rewrite its software, so although we're limited by the physical bodies that we operate, we can actually change how we operate them on a software level, and this is the culture that we find ourselves in. So things such as religion, knowledge, science can completely change the way we operate within the real world, and this is very apparent when we compare life now to what it was like hundreds or thousands of years ago. On a genetic level, we're almost identical, but the things that have changed in the real world is all down to the software. It therefore follows on from this that Life 3.0 is something that has the ability to redesign or re-engineer both its software and its hardware. And this is where AI, machine learning, and the future of artificial general intelligence comes into play. The book opens with a self-contained fictional story, which sort of reminds me of a typical sci-fi narrative involving AI, the future, and machines. But I think it's important to read because often the book refers back to this story throughout. But also, the idea of Life 3.0 is important to understand, and the best way to understand it is through a story. In essence, you can think of it like this. Once AI or machines become better at writing AI or machine learning code, then there will be something called the singularity. Because if AI can write a machine learning or AI application that can write AI or machine learning applications better than humans can, then you'll find it can keep improving upon itself, and this can grow very rapidly or exponentially until we reach a point where AI or machines are exponentially more intelligent than humans, and then this allows for or creates a scenario where the future is completely uncertain because we can't even comprehend the kinds of things or calculations that the AI or machines will make. Shortly after some of these concepts are introduced, the author then moves on to describe the near future, some of the implications of AI, and some of the things that people often think of in the AI space today, such as the loss of jobs, finance, the working world, how society will function, and so on. But after many of these concepts are introduced and explained in great detail, the author then goes on to tackle the question of the long-term future. And this is where we get into the whole utopian, dystopian, sci-fi concepts, which are not actually that implausible, given the fact we won't truly know what the AI is capable of or what kind of conclusions it will come to. While many of these future possibilities, if they do in fact actually occur, are likely to happen outside of our own lifetime, but what is more likely is that this lifetime or this generation will be the point or the turning point towards those possibilities. As I alluded to earlier, one of the things that I really like about this book is it's not just a pessimistic book on all the things that could go wrong about the future. Instead, it is interspersed with both positive and negative outcomes, but also it covers and touches on lots of different adjacent or side topics such as psychology, physics, and so on. And through this, I think you can actually build up a a fairly decent understanding about ideas such as what is a computer, what is computation, what is information, and even things such as memory. I think one of the biggest reasons why everyone should read a book like this, or this book specifically, is because a lot of the fear mongering and the real kind of anxiety around AI, the future and so on, is usually due to a lack of understanding. And when we don't fully understand something, we often lean towards negativity, which is a concept in psychology called negativity bias. So it's only through this understanding that we could be more reassured or more even prepared for what could actually happen. I've often come across people in the real world and they'll say something like, I don't trust technology, phones, gadgets, and usually the common denominator is they don't actually understand how this technology works. And because of this, they often jump to the conclusion that something like a simple gadget, a camera, or some kind of digital device is capable of tracking you, watching you, and doing all sorts of things. And this is before we even get on to the concept of AI, which is far more advanced. Even things like ChatGPT, if you don't understand how these things work even on a simple level under the hood, it's easy to come to the conclusion that it's some kind of super intelligent or magical kind of force that can understand how you think and can track you and understand you and build up a profile. Whereas in reality, even if you understand the idea of a transformer or how machine learning works, even on a very basic level, I think it can help reassure you that we're not actually near the stage of AGI, even if it does happen within our lifetime. But how AI and machine learning works in general is actually just a series of statistical and mathematical operations. One of the things that I've taken from this book personally is that so many of the world-leading experts within machine learning and AI actually disagree with each other about what kind of future eventualities may occur and the method it may take to get there. Because of this uncertainty or lack of agreement, I think instead of trying to jump to one conclusion or expecting even the worst case scenario, we should brace ourselves for one of many different possibilities. And overall, the best way to deal with this is come up with some kind of approach to solving things carefully and methodically before trying to allow AI to take control or give it kind of freedoms or liberties without truly understanding what it's capable of. The author also provides various links, websites, and communities that you can join or become a part of that can help shape the future of AI and, more importantly, AI safety. Probably my favourite, or at least the most thought-provoking part of this book, is where he delves into the different possibilities for the long-term future. And like I said, some are more utopian, some are dystopian, but then he asks you to choose which of these is the one that you would actually choose to live in. And then he gives you some pros and cons to each one. And I think by the end of this chapter, not only does it serve a storyline a bit like a sci-fi, but it's something that actually makes you realize that these sci-fi ideas are not actually outside the realms of possibility. So all in all, I definitely recommend reading this book, not just because of the deep dive within the field of AI, but also because it touches on a broad set of other ideas such as consciousness, information, knowledge, psychology, politics, and so on. So overall, you will become a lot more acquainted with these ideas, and then it can set you on your journey when exploring each of these ideas in more detail. So I hope you found this video useful or you enjoyed it. If you did, then I'd appreciate if you could like or subscribe. Definitely let me know in the comments if you've read this book or you have any other recommendations. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.